All right. Hello, everyone. It is me, Elder Reyes, and this is your real estate digital marketing podcast, episode one. Super stoked about this podcast. It has been something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. However, was in transition with my last place of employment at the last company. So had to get some things squared away, but now we're all set. So this is going to be episode one, real estate digital marketing podcast, right? So basically what I want to do with this podcast is once again help real estate agents and brokers with their real estate digital marketing, right? So we're going to do everything, talk about websites, social media, YouTube, Google business profiles, AI, because I know that's a super hot thing that everyone wants to know right now, what we should be using, what we should be doing, understanding kind of what's going on. How do you get your website on the first page of Google now that we are using AI and stuff like that, the whole Google AI mode, Chat GBT, Gemini, depending on where you're at, right? But episode one, what I wanted to do is because when I told a lot of my realtors that I still on occasion consult with. What is it that you guys are needing now, right? Like, what is it that you guys are kind of dealing with now as 2026 is coming up, right? So the first one is they all tell me, Elder, we're all looking to see what we're going to do with our website, right? So I think that's a super important topic because a lot of times I feel real estate agents and brokers don't really understand what they're getting with these different types of websites, right? So that's what I'll be covering today. I'm going to go over pros and cons of like what I like to call starter websites, pros and cons of what I like to call more of your custom websites, and then what I like to call more of your all-in-one solutions. And I'll go over those as well. And then I'm also going to cover, what if you decide to build your own website, host your own website, and then obviously the last option, or it's actually one of the first options you guys always look at. What if your brokerage or your company gives you a website, right? So first and foremost, let's kind of just get into it. What do I refer to when I mean starter websites? So what am I talking about starter websites? So your starter websites are typically from a price point or what you're going to be paying range anywhere from like 49 bucks a month, usually till about 199 bucks a month, right? And when we think about those are your websites like the iHouse Webs, like the Playsters, like the what's another one? Z57s, right? I know homes.com gives you guys a little website, right? I mean, they're just a website that like if you go online and you look for Google real estate websites, they're gonna pop up, right? The pros about these, like kind of what I like to call starter websites, and these are ones that are going to be between 49 bucks and 199 a month, is that they're usually pretty good looking, right? Because they're a template site, right? But so they are pretty nice looking. They are easy to get up and running, right? So not only are they a good price point, 49 to 199 a month, however, they're also pretty easy to set up, right? Like you can literally, I know, for example, there's a company out there called iHouse Web. Um, that you could call them, buy a website, and you can have that thing up and running, honestly, probably that same day, right? Load up your picture, your logo, your contact information, right? You get approved for the IDX. That'll probably take the longest time getting the MLS feed, the IDX solution approved, and then you can be up and running. Typically, they'll be ready in a day, right? But it's up to the whole, depending on which board you have to get your IDX approved. So that's the benefit, the starter sites, right? Playster, iHouse Web, Z57, Homes.com. I know there's Top Producer. There's about 100 different companies that I can kind of just say these are starter websites, right? So they're cheap or they're price point friendly, right? They'll be up quickly. They usually have an IDX or an MLS feed so people can do home searches. A lot of them do provide you the ability to make pages, do blogs. Also, what else? You can do a lot of the changes yourself. You know, you get your little domain name, you point it to the site, and you're up and running pretty quickly. The drawback is when you're dealing with those website companies, number one, because they are a template, the coding on the back end is not unique or not specific. And we all know right now, and I don't want to get too much into coding and all that stuff now because I'm going to confuse a lot of you guys. When it comes to websites, if you want to get them on page one, two, or three of Google, which is where 97% of people, search, right? No one goes past page three. The website, the back end, the coding has to be unique, right? It has to be a lot of other things have to be going on, but it has to start with unique coding. If you're getting one of these templated based sites, number one, the coding's not unique. Number two, they probably all look relatively the same, right? So a lot of you guys that are in luxury, which I mean, depending on where you are, all you guys are kind of luxury agents, right? If you're like in the Californias or the New Yorks or the Miamis or, shoot, probably any one of those big metropolitan areas, you guys are all luxury agents. You're gonna want something that's unique, that's building your brand, that's showing you as a true luxury agent. If that's you, you want to stay away from these templated based sites because they're only allowed for specific changes, right? Usually you can pick like a banner, usually you can pick some photos, some pictures to throw on there, but to go in there and actually make the site unique to you and what you're looking to do, it's going to be very difficult and it's going to take a lot of work if it's even possible. The other drawback with these is that you're also pretty limited in what you can do with them, right? So like the types of plugins or the apps or the widgets you're going to want on there. Some of them, because they're all templated based sites, they don't allow for a lot of apps, a lot of widgets to be added to there. And so once again, if you're wanting a bunch of tools on there, they're not going to be a good fit for you. Secondly, I'm sorry, in addition to that, the C if you're wanting a website with the CRM, those are not your ones, right? Like so many times I've talked to agents who've come to me and they've had a site and they're like, "Oh, I paid 99 bucks with it. I'm with Playster." I'm like, "Great." And then I'm like, "What issues are you having?" Well, number one, I'm not getting traffic, I'm not getting leads. And secondly, when I put my leads in the back end, they're not really being nurtured. Like the AI or the follow-up or the new listing alerts is pretty generic. It's because once again, the CRM or whatever backend system they have is not really robust, right? A lot of times I get the questions here, well, Elder, could I buy a website through one of these starter sites and then have all my leads go into my CRM that I have with my brokerage, like the Bold Trails or the Follow Up Bosses or the Lofties or these other powerful CRMs, you totally could. However, keep in mind that you still got to figure out a way to generate leads, generate traffic to those sites, right? Because please don't think that you're going to buy a website for 99 to 199 a month and it's going to be on the first page of Google and you're going to be generating a ton of leads, especially with this whole Google AI, Google deep dive going on. That's just not going to happen, right? So that's the drawback. But positive, they're up easy. It's a great start. If you're a brand new agent and you just need to get something online, something that you want to be able to show your buddies, something that you want to be able to post on social media, something that you want to load up some videos to, something that you want to load up some blog posts to, something that you want to attach a domain name to. They're great to get started, but please understand you're not going to be generating any leads outside of you running ads or you doing marketing or you splashing that thing all over social. Then you got to make sure you're not using, you want to make sure you're using different URLs and stuff like that. So it also with your Google business profile, those templated based sites, because Google does crawl your Google business profile, it'll also crawl that website. If it's a template and it's the same coding across all these other ones, you're not going to get any. It's going to actually hurt your Google business profile, right? So, really quick story. One of my agents that I was working with in the Bay Area had all these reviews, all these photos, updating their Google business profile left and right, and they just weren't getting anywhere near the top, right, or being showcased on when somebody was looking for a real estate agent in their market. And it was a simple fix. I told them, well, the main reason is because you have a template site where it says website, right? You want that to be definitely pointed to a custom site or something with unique coding, unique content that talks about you and your services as a number one real estate agent in your market. If you don't, then you're greatly going to suffer, right? Which is what was happening. But those are starter sites. Now, the next site I wanted to talk about was custom website, or at the very least, semi-custom. Right now, here we start talking about like Agent Fire, Agent Image, real estate webmasters, luxury presence, these very, very nice custom sites, right? So custom sites are typically what a lot of luxury agents like to go with because you guys have a specific brand that you guys want to go with. So um the benefits of custom websites, right? So you're gonna make it look and feel the way that you want, right? They usually look really, really good. Usually those custom companies have all the apps, all the widgets, everything you're going to need on there, right, to really make the website pop. I know a lot of agents that are using luxury presence. They love the look and feel. They look really good. They're beautiful websites. Same thing with companies like Agent Image and Real Estate Webmasters, that they have really gorgeous websites, right? And they look really, really, really good. The drawback with a custom website, and we've kind of see that happen now, is that Google, ChatGPT, whatever platform you're using to really showcase your site, right? And obviously now we all know Google AI, Google Deep Dive, which is all this new AI stuff that's kind of taking over the internet. The coding is changing, the algorithm is changing, right? So if you're not familiar with the term algorithm, basically that's what you need to do, the rules you must follow or the directions you must follow to get your website on the first page of Google, right? The problem with these custom website is I know for a fact these custom website companies are pretty pricey. So imagine last year, 2024, you probably spent 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 for a custom site. Now, here's the thing that sucks about that. With all this new coding going on, with all these AI updates, with all these algorithm updates, you need to go in there and update all that coding. You need to go up there in there and update the back end of your site. Even though the front end of your site still needs to be getting fresh content as well, the back end of it, right? All the plugins, all the apps, all the coding needs to be updated, right? And the reason is because like I always tell you guys, usually every 18 to 24, at the very most 36 months, we see this big shift when it comes to real estate websites, right? The big one that's taking place now is this whole thing with AI, right? Like the whole thing about you need a certain amount of content, you need to be cited on many different types of sources. Um, you want to make sure you have what I like to call the perfect content page with the videos and the pictures and the content and links to the information that you're providing. You need to make sure your Google business profile is pointing to specific pages on your site. There's a lot that's changed over the last 2 years, right? So if you bought a site that was probably a year, 18 months, 24 months old, even though it looks really good on the front end, and you're wondering now, man, why ain't my website getting any traffic, getting any leads? It's because all these changes are happening within these algorithms or the sets of rules one must follow to get your website traffic, right? So that's the problem with custom sites is they're super pricey. And whenever these shifts occur, you're almost kind of starting from scratch in the back end, right? Which really sucks because it's a ton of work. Because I'm gonna tell you this, there's no developer I've built over my career, well over probably, I don't know, 3,000 websites, and no one wants to rebuild the back end of a site. You're better off just taking those files, taking those photos, taking that content and loading it up on a more updated platform, right? So that's why these custom sites are so how I put it, so difficult to sometimes have because I know agents that have paid five, $10,000 for a beautiful website, right? And unfortunately, they bought it during the wrong time when one of these ships was coming, and now they've had a website 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and they've never gotten a lead, right? And think about it, if you're paying five, $10,000 for a custom site, right? There's also going to be some type of monthly investment because you still need an IDX solution in there. You still need them to do some type of SEO, especially with this whole Google AI, Google Deep Dive, Chat GBT. Now there's this whole business Chat GBT that's going to be coming out. Also, with the whole evolution of all these videos and these AI tools for videos and these AI tools for photos, and I'll get into that in another video. But there's so many things you're going to have to take into account, and you're seeing all these tools pop up now, right? Your website needs to be able to adapt, and if it's a true custom site, meaning the guy who built it, or the company built it from scratch, good luck just adding a plugin or adding an app and getting it ranked. It's just not going to happen. So that's why whenever I have an agent kind of reach out to me, and I help them kind of pick their direction on where they want to go, I tell them custom. I get it. If you're in that market, if you're that guy, you're in the Beverly Hills or the Hamptons, or Manhattan or Fort Lauderdale or Miami Beach, and you got that big time money and you want a really, really nice site, going the custom route, right? Might not be a bad option, but just know, and at the very most 18 to 24 months, you're going to be looking for something else, or you're going to need to add some tools right now to really, really keep it where it's at if you are getting traffic and you are getting leads. And just remember, because it's a custom site, does not mean that it is going to automatically get ranking on Google either, right? I know a lot of website guys out there who build really, really good websites, but don't understand the SEO piece, don't understand the optimization piece, don't understand what it takes to get that website on the first page of Google. So something to think about as well. Um, the other type of website that we're seeing out there that a lot of you guys get are what I like to call my all-in-one solutions, right? So those are going to be the Bold Trails, the Lofties, the Real Geeks, the Boomtowns, the Commissions Inc., the Sierra Interactive. Because what you get, Brivity is another one. What you get with them is you get a website and you get a very powerful CRM. What I also didn't mention with these custom sites is a lot of times you need to have a CRM, right? I know a lot of them tell you, hey, with the IDX solution, you're going to get the CRM on those custom sites, but you're going to want a more powerful CRM. Every agent that I know that has forked out the money to get a really nice custom site has also had to spend money on a good CRM, or they've had to spend money on marketing the site, whether it's SEO or doing leads or doing something, right? I'm sorry, or doing ads, because you still have to get traffic. So don't forget, I know some of these companies, they have these little packages where you get the site, you get the CRM, but then how are you getting leads? You have to do pay-per-click, you have to do SEO, right? You have to run ads, right? So that's kind of how that all works. So like, and this kind of brings me to a really good point I'll make here is, remember, when it comes to your website, how are you getting people to the site? When they're getting to your website, are they seeing what they're looking for? Do you have a way to capture their information? And then do you have something in the back end, like a powerful CRM, to really nurture those leads? Because we know that at least half, or probably close to 80% of those leads you get today are not ready to buy a house right now, right? You're going to need some nurturing, some follow-up, some stuff like that. So keep that in mind. But let's talk about these all-in-one solutions, right? So these all-in-one solutions, depending on your situation, might not be a bad fit. So when I talk about those, once again, Bold Trail, we're talking Sierra Interactive, we're talking Commissions Inc., we're talking Lofty, used to be Chime, Real Geeks, Brivity, all of those. So with those, you get a website and you get a very powerful CRM, right? So I'm going to use Bold Trail, right? Bold Trail is made by that company Inside Real Estate. They did KV Core. Before that, they did Conversion, right? Bold Trail's the one all you EXP agents get. I know Remax gets some. So that website is a beautiful website, right? The front end of it, I love the way it looks. I love the look and feel. The CRM is amazing. It just won some huge award in regards to AI at Edmond. So you know the AI in the back end is amazing. So the only issue with these all-in-one solutions is, how are you going to get traffic to that website, right? Because once again, those all-in-one solutions are what? They're going to be pretty pricey. So a lot of times I I've worked at these places, all these all-in-one solution type of companies. I'm not going to badmouth any of them, and I'm not going to talk good about any of them, but I'll tell you this, that so many times an agent would fork out 400, 500, $1,000 for these all-in-one solutions, and then 3 months later they're calling in saying, "Hey, I'm not getting any leads." At that point is when you tell them, "Well, by the way, well, these all-in-one solutions don't automatically generate you leads, right? You still got to run pay-per-click, you still got to run ads, you still might have to hire an SEO guy to go in there and optimize the site." Once again, how are you getting people to the site, right? Which is number one, if you want to generate business with your website. These websites, I always tell somebody, if you're going to get one of these all-in-one solutions, also have an extra $1,000 a month for pay-per-click, for ads, for some type of optimization, right? For someone to go in the back end and clean up the back end of these sites as far as, getting it optimized so people see it when they go online and do a search. Like I always tell folks, the best way to do it is one of the fastest growing searches, one of the biggest terms that we're seeing now that has just caught fire over the past 6 months, specifically because of this whole AI thing with the search engines, is looking for a real estate agent near me, top agents near me, real estate agent in city state real estate agents, top agents in my area. Something, Google those searches and you're going to see what pops up first is obviously going to be all the AI recommendations, right? Those are websites that have been cited. Those are real estate agents that have been cited. I'll get into that in another episode when I do more how to get ranked on Google, how to get ranked now with those whole AI stuff that's going on. But what you won't see is if you scroll down are these all-in-one solutions, right? So that's why I tell all you folks, if you're gonna go with Bold Trail, if you're gonna go with Sierra Interactive, if you're gonna go with Boomtown, Commissions Inc., Brevity, Real Geeks, which are all amazing platforms, right? The websites are awesome, the CRMs look great. How are you getting traffic to that site, right? Like, what are you gonna do to show people your website? It's going to be up to you or it's going to cost money, right? So, like I always tell my agents, it's either going to be knowledge, meaning you know what you're doing with SEO. Two, you're going to spend some money, meaning you're going to run ads or pay per click, right? Or, right, you're just going to just put your people in the back end of the CRM and hope that the AI, which is pretty powerful now, it has been more powerful than it's been in the past, can do the nurturing and get you some folks. But if you're looking to generate new leads, you have to do that either by you knowing what you're doing, hiring a guy that knows what he's doing, or doing pay-per-click, which all these companies do. So that's the all-in-one. Now, a lot of times I get asked, Elder, if you were an agent, which all-in-one would you go with? What's your recommendation? And like I said, I have no ties to any of these companies. I know a lot of the leadership at all these places. Um, I have a lot of agents who are telling me they like the Bold Trail, even though it is kind of new, right? They love the AI in the back end, but it is a lot to learn. The front end of the website on Bold Trail looks good. I have a lot of agents that love Lofty. I like the CRM in Lofty. I think it's pretty easy to understand. I love the website piece in the back end. It does allow for a little bit more SEO optimization than some of the other platforms. I've worked with agents in the past that have had Lofty and I was able to get them ranked on Google because, just specifically optimizing the back end of the website. Um, and then some of the other ones like Commissions Inc. and Boomtown, those are, if you're gonna get those, I tell folks, get ready to spend some money on pay-per-click. It's just gonna happen because when those platforms were built, they weren't very what they call SEO friendly, especially now with this whole AI thing. Good luck doing the work it takes to get those ranked. So just know the Commissions Inc., Boomtowns, those they're good systems. They've been out for a while, but you're gonna have to spend quite a bit of money on pay-per-click. Brivity, I've had a few agents use Brivity. I was able to get them ranked using SEO. A lot of the agents that I've worked with, helping them set up their platforms, had to do pay per click because they had those big teams. Um, but you know, Bold Trail, Lofty, and I would probably say Brevity are probably, if I was an agent, I'd be looking at one of those. The only reason maybe not Bold Trail so soon is because the only complaint I've heard there is if you load up a ton of listings, sometimes they time out. I was working with a really big agent in Washington, D.C., was trying to load up like 10,000 leads and they kept timing out. So he didn't like that. But at the end of the day, just know whatever one of those all-in-one solutions you're going to get, you have to manage it, right? So that's the other thing. And that applies pretty much across the board, guys. I've been at all these companies. I know what these companies do. I know what these companies offer. And when they got you on the phone and they're trying to get you to buy the website, they're going to tell you, we'll do it for you. We'll do it for you. We'll do it for you. But I promise you, you have to take you have to either hire someone and not through that company, hire someone on the side to manage that website for you, to upload the content, to make sure the leads are set up correctly in the back, to make sure the campaigns are set up right, to make sure all the apps are working properly, right, to make sure there's fresh content going up on it every single day, week, month, right? Like you have to have somebody manage it. If you think that you're going to pay one of these companies, even if it's $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, and they're going to do it all for you, it's just not going to happen because number one, a lot of them don't know. This whole AI thing has really changed the game, the way you have to approach getting a website ranked. And number two, it's going to be a lot of work, right? Um, it's funny, a lot of times I'll have agents reach out to me and they'll be like, Elder, how much would it charge for you to optimize my site, right? I have a website, I love it. It's with, I'm using Home Junction, which Home Junction is a great product. I was with Home Junction. What would it cost to get my website on the first page of Google now with this whole Google AI thing, Google Deep Dive, Google Chat GBT, Gemini, everything that's taking place? Quote them a price, and they're just so surprised. Well, the reason is you have to understand the amount of work it's going to take to get that website ranked. Number two is the amount of knowledge you need to have now to really go after and get the website cited like it needs to cite so that it gets on that first page of Google, right? So something to keep in mind. The other things I will also mention is a lot of times I get agents who say, well, I'm just going to use what my broker gives me. So here's the thing, guys. I'm not bashing any companies, right? I'm going to use EXP for one because I know a lot of agents and I've helped a lot of agents with EXP with their website. I know you guys get the Bold Trail. I know you guys used to get KV Core before that product turned into Bold Trail. I know you guys get Lofty. I know you guys get a lot of stuff. Here's the problem. The website that's given to you by your brokerage is not yours. It is a subsite, right? The root domain is always going to be EXP, Realty, whatever their domain name is. I'm having a little moment right now. I don't know, but that's the root domain. Your website is a subsite. It's not an actual website. Why is that so important? Because I can tell you now, a subsite will never be on page one, two, or three of Google. I don't care how many blog posts you put up there. I don't care how many videos you add. I don't care how many pictures you do, how many perfect custom content pages you do. They are not going to be there because it's a sub site. Like I tell everyone, just think about it if you're with EXP or Remax, so I know all you guys get the Bold Trail, is if let's just say I'm just gonna throw out there's 30,000 Remax agents out there, all you guys are using Bold Trail, it has the same back-end coding. How are you going to get that website ranked? Especially now, how are you going to get that website cited so that it comes up on the search engines, which what you need to do if you want anything to do with this first page now that this whole AI thing has come about, right? So if you are using your brokerage's website, you are not going to get traffic on its own. You need to market it. You need to run ads. You need to either really showcase it all over social media and drive people to your site. I also would not recommend using that website on your Google business profile because it'll actually hurt your score because it's a sub-site, not an actual site. So think about that as well. So those websites, you just have to run ads, right? So Elder, what if my budget is, I'm just gonna say $1,000 a month. If I was a real estate agent and my budget was $1,000 a month and I was needing to get leads ASAP today to work with, then what I would do, I'm gonna say pretend I'm with EXP. I would use the EXP Bold Trail site that they give me. I would customize it out. There's companies out there that do that, that'll make it all beautiful and make it look like you want. And then I would just take that $1,000, right? And I would just run ads to that site. But Elder, you just told me it's underneath the EXP root domain. Yes, but you can still run ads to a sub site. That's what I would do. And then once you get some business coming in, then go and buy your own bow trail. But you want to buy your own system because let's just say hypothetically you're with EXP, you make all these changes to the site, you have all these hyperlocal domains going there, you've uploaded all these videos, you've uploaded all this content, and you decide, hey, I want to open my own brokerage, or hey, I want to go to KW, or hey, I want to go to Coldwell Banker. You want to go to these other companies. You're not taking that site with you, right? And that's the mistake a lot of you guys make is when I have this conversation with you guys go, but Elder, I already have a website with EXP. No, your domain name, which would be like elderreyessalesreno.com, might be pointing to your EXP subsite, which is Bold Trail, but you don't own that site. You just own the domain name. You can take the domain name, but then you're going to have to rebuild that whole site. Well, Elder, they're telling me I can just download the files and move them over. Guys, if you've ever had to download files from a site and move them over and host them yourself, unless you're that agent, which I'm going to back up. I've met two that have done it successfully in my 25 years in the space. I've met two. The other ones had no idea what they were doing and they just ruined a really nice site. So remember, if you're a new agent and your company gives you a site, hey, use it. Hey, go to GoDaddy, buy a domain name for 12, 13, $14, point it there, point traffic there. But once you get some business, you're going to want to go and buy your own website. You are definitely going to want to do that. And the last point I'll make is a question I constantly get is, Elder, what if I want to host my own site, right? Or what if I want to own my own site? First and foremost, let me just tell you that is super difficult. Guys, I've been at a bunch of different companies where an agent leaves and they're like, can you send me the files because I want to host my own site? We would send them the files. They would go to like a GoDaddy or HostGator or one of those Bluehost, one of those companies, and they would try to host their own website, right? Unless you have a developer that's willing to transfer all those files, it's not going to happen. It is super difficult to host your own site. Also, you have to keep in mind, let's just say you pick a company. I'm just going to pick one, Luxury Presence, right? Which is they make gorgeous websites. They look good. You're with Luxury Presence, your renewal's coming up. They tell you it's 4 grand. You're like, man, forget that. I'm going to go host my own site. I'm going to take these files and host them. Well, keep in mind, there's probably links in there that are attached to an IDX account that Luxury Presence owns, right? Because they went to an IDX provider like a Showcase or an IDX broker or one of these IDX solutions, iHome Finder, one of those, and they took and they started a member like an account, right? So they went to iHome Finder, started an account, and then they said, okay, all my agents, I'm going to use your IDX account for them. If you go to host your own site, you're not taking that IDX account. You got to move those files over to GoDaddy, and then you got to go to like an IDX provider, buy an IDX solution, and then you got to create your own links. Good luck doing that, man. I'm telling you, I've seen it done twice, and it took the guy a long time. And both him and his son both came back to me and were like, Elder, dude, I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I'm done with like the website. It took me all this time. I should have just bought another one. If you ever get to the point where you're with like a Luxury Present or Agent Fire or Agent Elite or one of these companies that have built you like a pretty much custom or semi-custom site, and you email them and say, send me the files, I want to host it. Guys, I'm telling you, just grab as much pictures, as much content as you can on your own, and then download it and then send that to your new website guy and have them build you a brand new site. The process will be much better. Also, keep in mind that older site, the coding on it is probably a little bit outdated as well. Hopefully, you're going with a new company that has new coding to go along with Google's new algorithm, which is a much better fit too, right? So that's why I wouldn't recommend trying to host your own site. The last thing I'll get is we're seeing a lot of companies, aside from like the Wix and Web Text and all these other companies that are not specific to real estate. I would highly suggest staying away from those because when you go to like a Wix or a GoDaddy or one of these non-real estate specific platforms, they're going to tell you, yes, we'll build you a website. Yes, we can have an IDX. We've done it before, but they really don't know what you need to do with all those tools you're going to want on the site, right? Whether it's adding a chat bot, whether it's adding your IDX solution, whether it's having all your leads from that IDX solution go into your CRM that you have with your brokerages. There's so many things that you guys do. I would not recommend going to a Wix or a GoDaddy or a WebTech or any one of these companies out there that promise you they can build you a website. Every one of my agents that has done that, their site ends up looking like crap. They're always missing stuff. The actual integration does not work, and it's just not what you guys want to do. So, quick recap, right? You got starter sites, all in one, custom sites, sites your broker gives you, hosting your own website, and then also Wix or one of those non-real estate specific websites. You have all those options. Like I said, it all kind of depends on your budget and what you're really looking to do. If money is kind of you if you're that Asian, hey, you're big time balling, you're selling houses like crazy. I would probably do something in the realm of like a semi-custom site or a custom site, building something like that and having your leads go into one of those powerful CRMs like a Lofty or a Sierra Interactive or a Bold Trail. If your budget's kind of more middle ground, about 1,000 a month, then maybe go with one of those all-in-one solutions or use your broker's website and just have all that traffic go to that sub site until you can get your own site. If you're a new starter agent, this is you're just getting going. Look at companies like Playster, iHouse Web, Z57. Those starter sites are actually pretty good. They look good. Now, keep in mind, you're going to have to do a lot of the marketing to get traffic there, right? Or you can even run your own ads on there. Like there's a company out there called Zeely. I've had some agents use them that love them, that they do their ads for them and they're getting a ton of leads. But once again, the actual AI and the coding on those starter sites is not going to be as robust, right? Like I always tell you, folks, it's you get what you pay for, right? Like it always would crack me up when an agent would call me out of the blue and be like, Elder, I want to be on the first page of Google for 99 bucks a month. Dude, that's not, yeah. And I want and I want a Ferrari for like 50 bucks, right? Like you're not getting a Ferrari for $1,000, right? It's the same thing with these websites. If you're buying a website for 199, just think about the competition out there, right? Depending on who you talk to, there's a million and 1.5 million real estate agents out there. What 60, 70% of you guys have individual websites. So all you guys are fighting for that space online. And if you think about it, the way it works now, when somebody goes on search and online does a search, you got the AI kind of results that pop up. Then you have those Google business profiles. Then you have websites. I'm being told now Google is relooking. So is ChatGPT. So is Gemini. All these kind of AI things are relooking at how they're going to showcase their data. So at the bottom, you're going to have more videos and stuff like that. You're still competing with some of the folks that like looking at images and pictures and stuff like that. It's very, very competitive, guys. So um, it's just right now, like I said, it is super competitive. There is a way to do it. If, like I said, once again, if it was me, custom website, make sure when I get it built, it has my brand, everything that I'm really looking to do from a design and feel. Make sure either someone on your team or you yourself are knowledgeable enough to do the codings, the updates. You want to add photos and videos and content. And then if you're running ads or doing SEO, you have all that traffic going into a powerful CRM because like I'm telling people now, if you don't have a powerful CRM, you're gonna want one, man, because the AI a couple years ago was kind of like a coin flip, right? These leads would go into a CRM and they're kind of hoping they get the data right. But now we're seeing companies like Fellow and even Bold Trail, man, like their AI in the back end is pretty robust. Lofty, um, Sierra Interactive. I know I have some agents that are using what's the Realty Geeks. I have some other Privity, and the AI as I'm helping them set up their back end is super super cool, man. Like there is some really cool stuff you can do if you have these big huge databases, right? And you're not shy of reaching out to folks that might not be ready to talk to you just today, right? So I hope this was super helpful. Like I said, this is episode one of the Real Estate Digital Marketing Podcast. Do me a favor, go ahead, subscribe to this channel, leave some comments, leave questions, right? What I'm going to be doing is probably a few of these a week. I'm just going to be going on here answering your questions, right? The next topic I'm going to be covering, and I really want to get into, is social media, because I think a lot of you guys are doing it right. A lot of you guys are just throwing stuff up there. You definitely got to be active on there. There's some things that I would do that I think would work out really well, but that'll be the next podcast, the next episode. But this is episode one, Real Estate Digital Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Elder Reyes. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe, leave some comments. If you are a real estate agent and you are looking for some help with your real estate digital marketing, I would invite you to come on the show and we'll do a real one-on-one where I'll take a look at what you got and just prescribe solutions so everyone can see what's really working and what's really helping. I've done those before. People have loved them. But yes, just go ahead, subscribe, leave some comments. Thank you. Keep coming back. I'm going to be throwing up a ton of content. You're going to love it. And once again, thank you for watching the show.